Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. On this video, I want to talk about the movie that came out on Netflix. It's a new one called Leave the World Behind. Of course, this movie has a lot of mixed reviews. Not a lot of people have positive things to say about it. And a lot of conspiracy theorists are coming out and talking about their ideas. Now, I kind of like to think of myself as a conspiracy theorist, but can you really call people that anymore? There's so many theories that have been proven right. And just for example, aliens. I mean, for decades, people have been called crazy and, just lunatics because they thought other people from outer space can actually exist. But the government came out and said, yeah, they're real. And nobody is batting an eye at that. So, I don't know. I want to check it out. Okay, so the description of the movie is a family vacation on Long Island is interrupted by two strangers bearing news of a blackout. As the threat grows, both families must decide how best to survive the potential crisis, all while grappling with their own place in this collapsing world. This is based on the book Leave the World Behind, a novel written by Rumin Alam. Hope I'm saying that right. And before I get into the negative comments, I want to say why I find the movie kind of interesting. Like, it's kind of 50-50 for me. Like, the movie itself, I didn't think was that bad. Like, there's some parts, like, I don't want to do a spoiler if people are planning to watch it. I don't know if everybody watched it by now, but the ending isn't that great. The plot, it's kind of simple, but the idea around it is the great part. The idea of the world just suddenly getting cut off, and what would people do, and how would people act, and what will it, happen. That theory has always crossed my mind, and it's so interesting to me because, what will happen? No internet, no, phones anymore. Like, they're taking away landlines. Hardly anyone owns or knows how to work, frequency radios. You would only be able to communicate with the people in your town. Do you know your next door neighbor? Like, it's those sort of things that always come up to question, like, will we just have a total collapse, and how would that collapse be? It's really scary. So with that being said, let's get on to some of the reviews.
On the topic of reviews, here are a few that I've gathered from Google. A 1-star review from Stephanie. It's not even worth 1 star. I honestly get the message it's trying to get across, but people actually will watch television as an escape from reality. This movie sucks you in because it begins with an interesting plot line rooted in reality, and the cinematography is nicely done. However, it slowly becomes apparent that the questions raised will have no answers, where we feel lost throughout the whole film, and the answers never really fulfill everything. And so you've got to kind of enjoy the film as it goes along, because you kind of know that the payoff isn't going to be that great. And is there enough in the film to keep you interested? I don't know. So I totally agree with Stephanie on that one. A modern Netflix movie. Spend all their money acquiring yesterday's brand name actors, then write them a script that wouldn't be sufficient for a middle school play. The characters are boring and annoying. The plot is never actually explained, apart from hinting at domestic extreme terrorists, and no explanation as to why things happen or how. So some very good points there. I do think Netflix is kind of becoming like a standard kind of formula that seems to be working. I think, for instance, if you look at the daughter, her name is Farrah Mackenzie. She's an up-and-coming star, and she's probably one of the strongest actors in the film. She's very Stranger Things, and they know Stranger Things works, and so it's almost like they just plonked a Stranger Things character in this just to kind of keep all people happy, all viewers happy, and it's this kind of obvious gluing together of winning formulas that kind of puts people off, because you can just sort of, you can see it, and you can see when Netflix are doing it. So I do think Netflix needs to be a lot more careful when they're putting things together like this.
Okay, so let's check out another reviewer.
First of all, there was unnecessary sexual tension here. The daughter, Mahershala Ali's daughter, who is again 26 years old, she was kind of saying some inappropriate things to Julia Roberts' husband in the movie. It was really weird. But then later on, she's like, oh, well, he really wants to do me, talking to the father, trying to paint the guy to be a creep, although she's the one at her age kind of coming on to him, talking about, hey, do you vape? There's weed in here. Let's go out here by the pool and hang out. It was really strange. Then Mahershala Ali and Julia Roberts have a moment while they're listening to music, and they're not paying for a ticket. You're paying for a subscription. Let's generate revenue in other ways. And they also cut revenue in other ways. You see, this movie, you have some big name people, I suppose, Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke. You have these big name people, but you had, and I counted here, a grand total of 13 people in the entire movie. Okay, there was one lady that showed up for about 2 minutes, Mexican lady. She was there for about 2 to 3 minutes of the movie, and you never saw her again, including everybody you saw on screen. There were 13 people. It's like they rented a couple of Airbnbs in the shed, and they filmed right there. Long dialogue scenes, long drawn out stuff, not too much action. I think there might have been one kind of big green screen action sequence at the very beginning when a boat ran aground the beach. And that was pretty much the extent of the action.
Okay, so let's switch this around, and I want to show you a clip of Kim Iverson because she gives a good perspective on the theories that people are talking about and things that are happening at present time, like right now, that could be something of a cover-up. Okay, so let's switch this around, and I want to show you a clip of Kim Iverson because she gives a good perspective on the theories that people are talking about and things that are happening at present time, like right now.
Find the movie particularly that great or interesting. I mean, it was entertaining enough for a lazy Sunday afternoon, but the movie was about a massive cyber attack that was hitting the United States that ultimately would lead to war. Spoiler alert, by the way. I guess I should have said that in advance just in case you're going to watch it, because it doesn't really tell you exactly. Maybe the previews do. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I just kind of turned on the movie and thought, okay, what's this? All right. You know, Kevin Bacon, Julia Roberts, sure. But it's about a massive cyber attack that is happening on the United States and right before a hot war. Well, then yesterday, Rumble was down in what was potentially a cyber attack, according to the CEO, Chris Pavlovski. This is what he tweeted out yesterday. He says, I can confirm that this attack has been unprecedented and has been happening since this weekend. I also suspect it's political, coming from activists and or organizations who want to censor our creators and related to January 6 videos being posted on Rumble. So this is what he says. Now, luckily, everything is restored. That's why we're back on tonight. We weren't on last night. We ended up doing a replay because we weren't really sure if we were going to be able to stream out. We weren't really sure what was going on.
All right, guys, this is going to be the last clip. This is Fox News. This is a report they did a day ago about the cyber attacks. So another example of not a theory, an actual, actual events that are happening right now.
DC, and also we're hearing the White House as well, that China, also on top of all what Jillian reported, also tried to break into the operator of the Texas power grid. They operate independently from electrical systems in the rest of the U.S. We understand it's the U.S. electrical system is not connected. But the level of China's intrusion here and their intent is deeply worrying.
Yes, it is. And today we had a hearing in Homeland Security on the cybersecurity issues here in the United States. And yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent to us that China is preparing to launch some kind of a all-out cyber attack on the United States if, in fact, we find ourselves in conflict with them over Taiwan. And what's really scary about it is that it used to take an army of folks launching all of these attacks against us, but now with artificial intelligence, you know, just a handful of people can start to launch cyber attacks all over across the United States using artificial intelligence. So yeah, it's becoming a real threat to the American homeland.
Do you see how they're planting the flag? They went after a port on the West Coast, that's China, saying we could shut down a port. They went into a Hawaiian.
What I conclude from this is that it's just another clues, other things that they put in plain sight. Like the saying goes, the best way to hide is in plain sight. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, comment below, subscribe, click like, help a small channel out. And until next time.